Very good.
Okay. Thank you. So Cosimo was going to show some slides to better explain what Anya is doing in Italy.
Yeah, just give me the time to retrieve the right slides information. Just 2 slides, no more, but the right package. 2 seconds.
Okay.
Okay, here we are.
You can go ahead. I am waiting that Thomas give me an answer or.
Okay. In any case, just to share 2 slides about Anya.
Mm-hmm.
In English, that's why I was looking for the right package of slides. So, Anya Federation in Italy, we are organized within the industry association, the National Industry Association. We are organized in industrial association to cover the activities of companies on the territory level, the big areas of in Italy. And then there are pillars that are dedicated and devoted to follow the specific technical content. And ANE Federation is the global industry association within Confindustria devoted to the electrical and electronic industry. Started since 8 years ago. Last year we celebrated the 8 years anniversary in Rome with a big ceremony. We are talking about an aggregated revenues of 112 billion of turnover, 480,000 employees, and 4% of total R&D expenditure from the company associated in the perimeter. We are covering different area of activities in different verticals of application in industry, energy, infrastructure, and building with different technical topics. And when we talk about energy, building, infrastructure, transport and industry, the electronic components, the semiconductor really are orthogonal and horizontal to cover, to enable to the different verticals. And here we are with the different associations. ANE Federation is gathering 14 thematic and specific associations. And ANE Componenti Electronics, I'm the president since May 2024, is one of the 14 associations. We are covering all we represent the Italian electronics industry along the complete and the whole value chain, from manufacturing to logistics and development of services. With the aggregated turnover is around 5 billion euros in 2025, and we are representing also our companies represent a very intensive, because the semiconductors, the microelectronics devices and industry is very, very capital intensive, and also the portion of revenue devoted to R&D expenses are very high, 40%, with more than 22,000 employees, with a cross-sectional placement in Italy, but mainly in the more industrialized area of the country in the northern part, with a very good distribution among small and medium enterprise, 52%, and large companies, 48%. When I arrived, we counted only 30 companies associated to the specific ANE Componenti Electronics.
Okay.
And we had some sub-segments of the value chain, but nothing in PCB and nothing in equipment for testing for the semiconductor industry in specific area and so on. So I pushed to reinforce the semiconductors, the electronic solution for the integration. We are working with some, we are in discussion with some companies of the passive components to create also their app segment. Connectors are very well represented, distributors. And then we started last year with this new entry, new segments for equipment and machine. For the driver, the coordinator is a spare. And now we are associating some companies working active in Italy. And we created a specific segment for PCB, PCB made in Italy, with operation based in Italy. And we have some representatives that we are pushing also to enlarge the representation and the company associated to any electronic companies. But this is the picture where we are now.
Okay.
So we have completed the value chain, and we are following also our mission with the different content in the different key areas we address in industrial policies discussion with local, national, and European institutions, push on research innovation, the education topics mainly devoted to our industry segments, conductor, microelectronics, and so on. Networking with the other partners in the supply chain, both in Italy, in Europe, but also worldwide. We signed an agreement with Korea and South Korea Conductor Association early in January this year. And then all the topics related to the international trade, the presence in the trade fairs, the development of the association, because really we are pushing, I'm pushing a lot and with a lot of effort to be more and more represented, more companies represented in the association. And this is the status of today with different contacts and position at national, European, regional, national level, European level with the different associations we are in touch. Mm-hmm. Contributing to bring content, strategic content on behalf of the represented company. This is the very, very fast picture of the activity. And I'm trying really to reinforce the association and the pushing for the position and the well-recognizing of the association in front of the public authorities in Rome, in Brussels, at the international level. So this is the picture, very, very fast. If you have some question, I'm happy and pleased to answer. But just to give an ideas and details before to start the discussion.
Well, for me, that's very interesting. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. And it's clear that we are in touch with Stefania. Oh, good afternoon, Thomas. I was following the presentation. We're in touch with Stefania since several years. Since my arrival 2 years ago in Milano, because the association is located in Milano, in different events, different opportunities also to exchange, to brainstorm, to create ideas about new opportunities. And I was happy this year to accept to be part of the panel in PCB, focus on PCB in Vicenza. And just to complete, I'm a director in ST Microelectronics, that is one of the companies, and I'm in the semiconductor industry since 1994. So I'm a veteran of this industry. I know very well the industry and the different actors and players in Italy and Europe.
Excellent. If we're still going around, Thomas, nice to see you.
Yeah.
Sorry for my delay. Sorry.
Yeah. No problem. We started just to introduce the association under Confindustria.
Yes, I was very interested to hear about Annie. And I know that we're going to move on to talk about the panel in a moment. So I'll just take a minute, since we were meeting for the first time without slides, to introduce myself and the association. So I'm Alison James. I'm responsible for advocacy for the European arm of the Global Electronics Association. So the Global Electronics Association is Cosimo, you were talking about the whole value chain. We're really looking at electronics from, we talk silicon to systems. So our membership is semiconductor raw, materials, printed circuit boards, EMS, IC substrates, advanced packaging, OEMs. It's the full ecosystem. I'm responsible for advocacy for the association, but the association does a lot more than that. We are an organization that works on standards, on education, on technology solutions. And this is, as I say, a global association. So this is for the global electronics industry throughout the ecosystem. So if I come quickly to the advocacy part and government relations part, which I'm responsible for, we work a lot on industrial policy, industrial strategy, and always from the perspective of the ecosystem. So we've been making the argument for some years, Cosimo, at European Union level, that we need to have industrial policies that are stimulating the electronics ecosystem, and particularly for critical industries. So that means the European Chips Act, it means defense programs, it means all of the industrial policies that are coming into play. And we've been very vocal on that for the last number of years. We work in collaboration with our members. We have hundreds of members in the European Union, which are not only companies, but also some national trade associations are directly members of our association, and some are partners. So we work with trade associations, and Cosimo, I'll be very happy to work with you. I hadn't met you before. We would be very, very pleased to work with the Italian association on advocacy, because we are clearly very aligned in wanting to make sure that the value chain as a whole and the electronics
thank you for this, because just from my point of view, all we act as a really win-to-win, with a win-to-win approach, to be an ecosystem, to enlarge the ecosystem, and to focus on the effort to be actor in Europe in a very, very geopolitical, strategic, challenging world and changing world, or we will not be able to go ahead on behalf of our companies. This is a strategic message. Put the effort together, create the right synergy, the right contact. And the people who know me, they know exactly the message I'm trying to put on the table. Create the right synergy. This is the only way to succeed. And maybe that can be also the topic of the panel. Avoid the pillars, the silos, and put together the best effort and knowledge in the industry to defend the interests of our companies that are day by day proceeding in Europe with a big effort, also because the world is changing. It is changing a lot. Also the critical raw materials, the cost of energies, and so on. And at the end, this will be translated in the final cost for the end users, going through the cost of the bill of material for our companies before to arrive on the market, on the downstream market for the vertical and serve the application. And PCB is one of the key points.
Absolutely.
It's becoming more and more one of the critical points, because, okay, you have the raw materials, you have the components, but at the end, the component must be assembly, soldering in one board before to arrive on the final application.
Well, I think Thomas would agree with that as well. We absolutely need the printed circuit board, and we need the printed circuit board assembly. We need all of it from, as we always say, from silicon to system. That's where we're coming from. Thomas.
Yep.
Over to you.
So I can only fully agree, and this was exactly the claim we had. So I worked with Alison a lot, or Alison with me. No, I with Alison. When we walked, we contacted Brussels, but we do the same as you for the other guys. I'm here now sitting in my capacity as EIPC Vice President, but I'm also the managing director, CEO of ILFA, and I'm also for 30 years a board member, a director of the ZVE, so the German Electronics Association. And our claim was always, when Alison and my claim, our claim in IPC today GIA, was it is not a silo, exactly. So I fully agree. It is ecosystem microelectronics. It's the full supply chain. and we have to make sure that the supply chain is not cut, and the PCB, we had this CHIPS Act, we had this discussion, silicon to systems, but we did not focus too much on PCB. But Alison, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think with the CHIPS Act 2, so to say, the new one, PCBs are really mentioned, and they are really something Brussels would look into. At least this is my view.
That's been our very, very strong case to the European Commission for the last number. So in the first CHIPS Act, Cosimo, it happened very quickly. We already said there should be benefits for the whole ecosystem and make sure packaging and advanced packaging is covered.
Yeah.
And then the last X number of years, our case has been cover printed circuit boards, cover printed circuit board assembly, everything between the chip and the system, that should be covered in the CHIPS Act. So that's been our argument. And that's where we're coming from. We believe that these instruments need to explicitly include printed circuit boards and explicitly include printed circuit board assembly, EMS. Otherwise, we're leaving critical vulnerabilities in the back end, and we have a chip which then has to be sent to Asia, but we don't have a resilient supply chain for critical industries. So now we're talking critical defense, space, critical infrastructure. So that's where, indeed, to repeat what Thomas is saying, and that's been our very strong case to the European Commission for the last number of years, and particularly in this period during the revision of the CHIPS Act review. And I think it would be critically important, obviously, for the Italian government to support that and to vocally support that and to hopefully take that position as the European CHIPS Act comes out and be ready to support printed circuit boards and EMS in addition to semiconductors. That's where we're coming from.
I agree, perfectly agree. And also our role, because we have a role, we have a mission, it's an interim and temporary mission, because in the industry association is like this. Really, we need to bring all the pieces, or the different pieces of the entire value chain, and at a certain moment give the focus on a specific thematic area. And at this stage, really, the PCB and the PCBA is becoming more and more critical.
Yes.
Because when we were talking about sovereignty and so on, also to have, because I know that several companies are moving in Europe for manufacturing in the different steps of the value chain, in the different stage of the value chain. And more we know that they are asking where the PCB are produced, assembled, and so on. And also the different parts of the value chain. But PCB is entering more and more in the critical topic of discussion, because also for the cybersecurity, all the topics that are critical, you cannot send out the PG tape outside of Europe and waiting that the final components are assembled in Europe. This is critical. And more companies are asking this. It was the moment of packaging, now is the moment of heterogeneous integration through silicon vias for silicon and so on, the chiplet, blah, 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 all the steps. But now PCB are considered, they must be clearly recognized in the strategic documents from the Commission. And we are pushing about this in Rome and Brussels.
Excellent.
In the same direction, on the same voice.
Okay. We're agreeing.
This is the point. Sorry. Also, we wait also for some suggestion and coordination from Massimo. I don't know. We are talking about, because normally in the industry we are self-referential. We know the industry, we know each other, we know the topics, we know we don't know each other. But
it's pretty difficult to follow all the different part of your speech, because it's very specific. But what I wish to ask you, in order to organize a better talk, is how can we share the different topics among the three of you?
Okay.
So generally, I organize the chat, the talk with 2 or 3 rounds, up to you. The first one should be like the frame, the situation, and the second one should be or maybe the problems, the difficulties, the thing to solve or to work out on. And the third one is are the solutions. So I am asking you to help me to share different angles of the problem related to your specific role in this field. And what I wish to ask you is just how can we share the different topics among the three of you?
So I'm just thinking structurally here. So I'm based at European level. I'm dealing completely with the European Union institutions. So I think, and also we're a global association. So I think we can talk from that perspective.
Okay. So one is Italian angle, European angle, a global angle. We can.
Yeah, I mean mostly European, I would say. If we need to say something globally, but I think we should focus on EU wide and the industry. So I can talk about the issue across the European Union. Where are we? That we see that the electronics manufacturing is reducing. It's going down over time. There haven't been investments, while globally it's expanding. That's what I can speak to.
Okay. And Thomas, because to me it would be interesting to know also what is the situation in China, in the States, in the Asian tigers. So it would be to complete the frame. It would be interesting to know something about.
Massimo. Sorry, just 1 second. Cosimo, may I ask you to block your screen sharing? Thank you. Sorry, Massimo.
Matthew, can I ask you when you mean the situation in China and in other regions? I mean, we can say, I can say, and we can all say, they are supporting the industry. There are industrial strategies in place. I can say that. In Asia, also I can say something about the US that we see in other regions. They are supporting the ecosystem in a more holistic way that we haven't had in Europe. I can say that kind of thing.
Yes, support, but they are also competitors. So
they're competitors and they are supporting. They are competitors and they are supporting.
Sorry, if I can intervene. Based on this, I will appreciate if Elison can provide this top vision of Europe, the European institution, also a role of advocacy and so on. And I would be very glad to share the effort we are producing in Italy, 2 years of activity. Now we are accelerating because we recognize.
Okay, of course, Cosimo, it's Italy. Elison is going to be Europe. I don't know, Thomas, for me, I would just want to, as a journalist, something would be interesting for me is the war, the critical situation, the Ukrainian war, the Gulf crisis, they all affect the PCB world. So it would be interesting to understand how are you trying to face this situation in terms of logistic and everything connected with your business.
Massimo, if I may just give a quick answer to what Massimo just mentioned, I think it's perfectly put that you said, okay, how is the world functioning today? Where is material coming from? And for me, for example, I'm sure you are not surprised if I tell you I'm for 40 years in the business. You can see it. I'm already a little bit older. And when I was young, we used to have a lot of PCB manufacturers in Europe. We also had the entire supply chain in Europe. During the 80s, the 90s, the 2000s, more and more material was purchased in China, in Asia, particularly mainly in China. Also, the supply chain was under pressure. And when I was young, we used to have 13 laminators, base material manufacturers in Europe. Today we have one. The second one just announced last year the closure. So our supply chain, if we do not have sufficient PCB manufacturers, and you have sufficient PCB manufacturers, if the OEMs decide that they buy in Europe, then also the supply chain of the PCB manufacturers will disappear. And we can now see with EMS industry, by the way, we can see what happened to the PCB industry 20 years ago is now starting to happen to the EMS industry, because now the PCB manufacturers in Asia, they all start to have also assembly business. So they offer the PCBA, as we call it, not just the PCB. And now the EMS companies are under pressure. And once both are gone, you know, it's not a business where you can decide, oh, we need it, let's build a plant and produce it, because the supply chain disappears.
Yeah.
And besides my ILFA business, I have some other businesses, and I used to be also a key shareholder of a big laminate manufacturer out of Taiwan. And it is quite obvious, you know, when I talk to the biggest manufacturer of laminates, base material for PCB, a company EMC, and I talked to the CEO, Albert Tang. He mentioned to me, he said, Thomas, if we have sufficient demand, means PCB manufacturers manufacturing PCBs, I'm willing to put money on the table to have a plant in Europe. He has just done it in America. We all know the political situation there is easier because we do not have United States of Europe. Everybody in Europe likes to have his cut from a decision. In America, it's just America. One president decides for all the states. In Europe, it's different. So I think what we have to address here is that this is a top-down problem. Commitment from OEM, and then it goes along the food chain. And the food chain, so the manufacturers will invest if demand is there, if commitment is there. My company, ILFA, I pushed this company the last 10 years towards defense. We have good business, but we have not sufficient suppliers because we can't give them enough food, enough loading for their factories. So that's why we also have industrial, we have to have industrial segments, we have automotive segment, and the demand for PCBs in Europe exceeds $8 billion, and this is a conservative number. And we produce 1.6, 1.7. So there's room to give it. And resilience and sovereignty has a price. Of course, it's more expensive than in Asia, but this is also due to the fact that I can tell from experience, we got a lot of subsidies when we started 3 plants in Asia. We got free land, we got tax haven, so we didn't pay tax for 10 years for the profits and stuff like this. I can tell from experience. And here, if you invest, well, you get a handshake.
So that goes on to the solutions, and this is all the problems, and then
it's about the money at the end.
How do you solve it? And it's the policy instruments and secure demand and a full ecosystem approach, including the CHIPS Act, including other instruments, including public procurement. We need
local we need a threshold. We have to, and a public company, they will go where they get the best price or the best infrastructure or whatever they need for their business model. And if you do not force them to buy a certain percentage of their demand in the country, you have a problem. Because they are global, you know, the big entities. And they buy where they get it for the best package, so to say. Yeah. And in America, they are forced by Trump, you know, with sometimes ridiculous duties and stuff like this, but they react. We can see for our industry, the TSMCs and everybody, they start to build plants in America because they know otherwise they can't get the orders. And I said it in Brussels a number of times. I said, you know what, you even do not have to invent a concept. You just have a blueprint from the American way. You have to adjust it a little bit, but you have a blueprint. But you have to act. Less talking, more acting. That's at least my view at it.
The message, the key message, move to the action on behalf of the European and then the national based industries, also supporting the investment plan, supporting the costs, because it's clear that in a global competition several years ago was easier to reduce the impact and presence of the industry in Europe and move with orders, placing orders in the Asia Pac. Now it's changing. And we need to have companies to reshore in Europe and serve the different needs based starting from operation based in Europe. This is the point.
Yeah, but it's political environment and it is a top-down decision from OEMs. My point of view.
Yeah.
You do not resolve it from
pushing
from
the base.
Yeah.
From the base.
Yeah.
And you need supply instruments that help electronics companies be competitive, so that you do reduce and that you are offering the quality and the quantity, and you can be competitive with other regions. So you need both simultaneously. You need several things simultaneously.
It's a package. It's a package of actions.
Yes.
And I can tell you from the German market, the German PCB industry, we are still a lot of owners like me. I'm the owner with some friends. We are willing to invest, but we have, let's call it the business plan. We have to have trust in the environment. Yeah. What's about tax? What is about energy cost? What is about our supply chain and so on? We are willing, to invest. This is not the issue, but we have to have commitment from top down.
Yeah. Does that give the structure, Massimo? It's like the issue and then moving to the solutions.
If we will have also some interpreters, therefore we need the documentation to give in order that they can prepare it. Otherwise, it's not so easy also for them.
If it's fine for you, we could also share this call with them so that they understand the topic. They are professional interpreters, so they just need to know what you're talking about, and they can research and study.
No problem at all from my end.
That's fine.
And regarding the discussion which we're going to have in Vicenza, I would also ask here my guys to prepare something in advance with some bullet points, some statements. And for Massimo, that he already knows what's the journey? Where would we like to go to?
Okay.
If this helps you.
Yeah, and
I want to study the record of this conversation, and I will give you back come si dice scaletta in inglese?
All the steps.
See the steps. Okay. How long it takes the 1 hour?
I think a little bit more.
Okay, and we have 3 people talking. We are the 4 of us.
Here.
Yeah.
Don't you have the Italian ministry?
And one more. Yes, one more. Cosimo.
Sorry.
You are bringing then Francesco also to this this meeting.
Yeah, there is a missing point because
I'm sorry. I ask only one thing. What we need for yesterday, we need like a title, because we have to promote this conference, and it will be the best that you think about this title that can that we will we can say spread all over Europe in order that the people are coming to focus on PCB to hear it. If we can think about and then send us.
Sorry, do you mean a title for the panel?
Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
Why don't
But
we
should
just
be
use...
really a very good title that.
I catch up.
Thank you. I'm sorry, Cosimo. I have interrupted you.
No, because I understood that you were referring also to the Francesco Tenuta from the Italian ministry.
Yeah.
Because I will be in contact with him to update, to be aligned. But now we are moving to the title, not the business title of Francesco Tenuta, but the title of the panel.
Of the panel, yeah.
Yeah.
Yes, I think it will also be important to understand if Francesco from the ministry is going to intervene and tell and make a statement during the. Or of course, I think he's gonna be the last one after hearing the European level, the Italian level, the effort, the environment, and what is the solution according to the present associations, but maybe we should prepare him and ask him for a statement as well, or how he would like to prepare.
I will be in Rome on Monday morning to meet him for other reasons.
Okay.
So I will update him and just to align each other about our today call, where we are, what we need, and also this sketch about the idea from Massimo, no? To move from frame situation, problem, critical points in the industry, suggestion about solutions.
I would need to fix the three themes, the three topics for the 3 rounds of the discussion. So maybe the first one, I will ask you, which is the situation now in the Italian level, the European level, companies level, okay, the 3 of you. And then what could be the second and the third issue, topics for the remaining 2 rounds?
Yeah, I think one is the issue. Then is how shall we resolve it? You know what is needed.
Yeah.
What is needed to resolve it?
Yes, of course. And maybe there is a room for a third tour.
What are you doing? I mean, also, because what is the situation? Like, what's happening? What are companies? What did we miss there? What is the current situation? That means what's happening with the industry.
Yes,
but you've also got
I think, I mean, the frame, the people, when before Cosimo showed us this Italian sector, data, numbers, problems, international, global crisis. Okay, this is the first. Or maybe the first one is just a picture of the situation, the second one, the problems, and the third one, the solution. Maybe, I don't know, just help me find the best way to share the different speech.
Perfectly fine what you said, Massimo. I think it's a kind of a cocktail, and we have now to find the right ingredients to make sure that it tastes well. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not bad.
No, it's true. It's true. But it could be useful, Massimo, indeed, if you had a couple of questions to structure that we had.
Yes. Then when Chiara sent me the registration, the record of the discussion, I will try to find some different questions for each one of you.
Yeah.
Okay.
That would be
We will suggest some title I will be in Rome on Monday morning just to have a
Yeah.
brainstorming with Francesco Tenuta at the ministry level from the general direction as well as advanced technologies, and we will keep in touch later.
Perfect.
Perfect.
Okay.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Bye
Have a
bye.
nice
Thank you.
evening.
All right.
Bye bye.
All the
Thank
best.
you.
Bye-bye.
Chiara,
Thank
rimani
you.
un attimo, rimani un attimo. che
Certo,
poi-
certo.
Bye.
Bye bye, thank you.
And
Okay.
we get in touch then, Alison. Vabbè. No, è sparita.
He's gone.
Ok,
Eccoci.
allora, cioè, vabbè, adesso se mi mandi questa registrazione io me la studio un po' e
Aspettate
cerco
che
di...
sta rientrando Alison, che forse
Sì.
vuole dire qualcosa.
Sorry,
Yeah.
Stefania. I hit leave when you were talking to me, so I came
No,
back.
no,
No.
we are just arranging a way to do how to proceed with the speech. But
To
we
proceed.
are...
And then I write you just
Yeah.
that we can say for a title, if you think about it.
Yeah, I mean, just
And
it would just be something like building a resilient electronics ecosystem, strategies, investments, and policies needed. Something like that.
yeah.
Yeah.
And then the next week, after Cosimo returns from Rome, we will have more. But in any case, we will also meet Mr. Rico Schluter next week.
Yeah.
Therefore, okay. But we speak about when Cosimo returns from Rome, because he's with the minister and so on.
That's honestly that's the most important, and to have questions to the ministry. How do you see it? What will you do?
Yeah.
Italian government
that was the reason why we had the meeting today, because on Monday he's in Rome.
Okay. Yeah.
But Francesco Tenuta will be there, be in Vicenza, and this is very important.
He's the most important person in the room.
Yeah.
He can help.
Okay.
He can help the industry.
Very good. Thank you very much.
All right. Thank you. I'll hear from you soon. Right. Bye bye.
Thank you, Alison.
Ciao, bye bye. Thank you.
Bye.
Allora,
Eccoci. Beh, è un bel roundino, dai.
vabbè,
Però
insomma,
mica male,
me la devo studiare un attimo perché
Sì.
insomma, molto, molto tecnico. Poi bisogna un po' organizzarla bene perché i temi sono 1000, si sovrappongono, si ripetono. Allora, se mi dai questo...
Sì. Allora,
già-
aspetta che faccio stop. Poi io sto continuando a registrare, io fa niente. Poi dopo
Vabbè,
faccio
basta
stop e
che
te lo mando.
me lo mandi quando tanto si
Sì,
ferma
sì, ti
quando
metto 2
chiudi.
secondi. Sì, chiudo, te lo mando. E
Poi Thomas aveva già detto che comunque avrebbe poi scritto qualcosa, e perché mi sembra anche corretto che tutti loro poi, infatti come adesso semmai gli scriveremo anche noi, per le interpreti devono mettere giù diciamo qualcosa, perché noi non possiamo dire alle interpreti mettetevi le cuffie e via.
No, certo. Adesso gli daremo un documento, gli facciamo una trascrizione di questa cosa che hanno detto, la ordiniamo e gli facciamo un documento, come dire, di appoggio sui temi e poi tu dammi intanto, poi ci lavoro io. Il resto del programma è pronto, Stefania?
Sì, adesso mi sono arrivate finalmente, ti mando entro domani, ti mando quello del 13 pomeriggio, perché ho anche proprio già i form tutti compilati, che così c'è scritto qual è il
Ti
titolo,
ricordi,
qual è la cosa.
no, ti ricordi l'anno scorso avevamo chiesto a tutti quanti di mandarci delle schede? Ti ricordi?
Sì, e allora io ce li ho questi form con tutte le indicazioni. Li ho
Quindi
già
io avrò da
ricevuti.
tutti una sintesi di quello che diranno.
Sì, li ricevi da me perché me li hanno mandati giusto tra ieri e oggi.
Va bene, sì, tu mandameli un po' intanto così io me li stampo e me li lavoro.
Sì. E sono comunque delle gran belle aziende. Perché
Ascolta, Thomas è un'azienda tedesca,
Michels.
no?
Sì, è della
Thomas
IFA.
Michels è
Della
lui
IFA,
è
che è un
vicepresidente.
produttore. Scusa Stefania, vai tu.
No, prego.
Allora, lui è il proprietario barra CEO della ILFA, che è un produttore di PCB tedesco, ed è anche all'interno della EIPC, che è l'associazione europea, la stessa della Ellison, quindi lui è collega della Ellison.
Perché pure Ellison è un
No,
industriale?
no,
Lei
no.
è una dirigente.
No.
Aspettate, ho capito
Attenzione.
male allora.
Sì,
Vai
allora,
tu,
Ellison
Stefano.
è il vecchio IPC, che sarebbe la Global
Ah,
Electronics
no,
Association,
hai ragione, mi sono confusa, scusami.
mentre
Che
Thomas
però
Michels è...
global, però è europea.
No, global è global, nel senso che è la vecchia IPC, come la chiamavano tutti, è quella che dà le regole, tra virgolette, dell'elettronica, per cui è importantissima e copre tutto il mondo proprio come
Ah, e allora perché lei mi ha
regolamentazione.
detto io voglio parlare solo dell'Europa? Cioè, invece lei può
Perché
parlare del mondo.
lei è proprio appositamente, diciamo, è il collegamento dell'IPC per
L'Europa,
l'Europa
ok.
a Bruxelles.
Però secondo me, questo io voglio dire, facevo fatica un po' a seguire tutte le cose molto tecniche, però è interessante capire, che ne so, il gas neon che sta in Ucraina, il gas, l'elio che sta in Arabia Saudita, no? Che sono gas essenziali per i microprocessori, per i circuiti elettronici che sono bloccati da Hormuz o dai bogottaggi vari, e come ricadono sul mercato, no? Questo secondo me è interessante, no?
Sì, comunque bisogna anche stare però attenti che questa volta loro vogliono, come hanno detto, focalizzarlo molto di più sui circuiti stampati, perché c'è questo Chips Act dove si parlava di componenti elettronici, ma non erano stati inclusi i circuiti
Ok,
stampati, che sono poi la base
certo,
dell'elettronica. Ed è
certo.
per quello poi IPC, oppure Global Electronic Association, non aveva dei contatti qui in Italia, e allora poi sono tutte cose che sono nate e hanno portato, diciamo, a organizzare un incontro di questo genere. Comunque, per finire, quello che si diceva prima, Thomas Michels è il vicepresidente di EIPC, che è questa piattaforma proprio dei circuiti stampati europea, per cui c'è il nuovo presidente, che è da 3 mesi, eccetera, che sta andando, diciamo, un po' in tutte le associazioni possibili e immaginabili per parlarne, però, per cui, no,
Va bene,
è
dai,
notevole.
ok, allora Chiara, mandami questa
Sì.
registrazione, ci lavoro.
Sì. Sì, io quello che volevo solo aggiungere, intanto mi scuso prima perché effettivamente mi sono confusa tra i due tizi e tutte queste associazioni mi mandano male. Il
Però
motivo per
scusa,
cui...
lei non è un industriale, lei è
No,
una...
lei è dell'associazione
l'associazione,
IPC, questa qua,
è una
IPC,
dirigente,
no?
ok, sì,
E lei è la tipo responsabile, adesso non so il titolo preciso, ma lei
vabbè.
fa
Ce
advocacy.
l'hai,
Aspetta che te lo
ce
vado a
l'hai.
prendere, aspetta che te
Ma
lo vado a
no,
prendere.
ce l'ha lui, perché li ho
Ah.
presentati tutti nella mia mail.
Ecco, Executive Director, Senior Director, è un Senior Director dell'associazione.
Ok,
Ok, ma lei di lavoro fa advocacy all'Unione Europea, cioè lei di lavoro rompe le palle
certo, è chiaro, è
all'Unione
chiaro, è chiaro.
Europea per
Certo,
fare sta
sì, sì,
cosa,
sì.
motivo per cui la Stefania è riuscita con grande
Rotture
lavoro
di palle io.
esatto, a tirarla a noi dicendole che comunque appunto qui avrebbe potuto, diciamo, lanciare un messaggio all'Italia, e infatti lei continua a ripetere che la presenza più importante è il tizio che verrà a parlare, tale Francesco Tenuta, dal Ministero, perché l'Italia al momento non sta per nulla partecipando al pushing per rafforzare la supply chain made in Europe. Cioè dice, lei ha detto proprio nei nostri tavoli di lavoro l'Italia non c'è, e quindi ha colto questa occasione per dire, quella, presentatemi il Cosimo Musca, fatemi parlare col ministro. E il motivo per cui lei prima ti ha detto sì, dobbiamo parlare dell'Europa e di Hormuz ce ne freghiamo, perché loro sono lì a spingere sull'Europa.
Anche perché diceva comunque sempre l'Ellison James che lei è in contatto con tantissime associazioni europee e non aveva nessuno in Italia a cui fare riferimento, che è una roba pazzesca se tu ci pensi. È per quello che poi Cosimo Musca, che comunque è Confindustria, per cui ci tiene anche parecchio, è ben felice di farne parte adesso, cioè, di questo incontro.
Ok, va bene, dai.
Io non so poi col tizio di Francesco Tenuta, cioè basta che non facciamo gaff poi alla fine, perché per quello che io ho detto, ma
È un dirigente.
dobbiamo chiedergli uno statement, qualcosa, perché se questo qua magari si trova spiazzato a sentirsi dire, oh, questi sono tutti i problemi, questa è la soluzione, voi che state a fa? Cioè lui lo deve sapere prima che gli viene fatta questa domanda.
Però mi diceva comunque sia la Cola Giorgio che Cosimo
Sì.
che lui è del Ministero, diciamo, del Made in Italy, è proprio il collegamento per queste cose, è il loro collegamento nel settore dell'elettronica con la comunità europea.
Quindi
Per
è sul pezzo.
cui, ma molto sul pezzo. Infatti, quando mi ha detto ti andrebbe bene, ho detto porco di un cane se andrebbe bene, sarebbe l'ideale perché sa già la situazione che c'è in Italia e ha i contatti, diciamo, in Europa. Poi dopodiché, poro Cristo, anche lui prima di farcela, però è la persona giusta perché conosce, capisce quello che tipo oggi se ci fosse stato avrebbe risposto. Ecco.
Va bene, dai.
Va bene.